Never wait for any man. You either want me or you don't. Never let a man tell you or show you more than once that they don't want you. So if I even feel a piece of like, I abort, I block, I dismiss myself. I don't need you. I don't really want you anymore. I even feel a piece of like, I abort, I block, I dismiss myself. I don't need you. I don't really want you anymore.
Let me interpret what Chloe Bailey is actually saying to you. She's most likely an anxious attachment style. An anxious attachment style people look for signals of abandonment. Why? Because she or whoever is an anxious attachment style has abandonment issues. And people with abandonment issues and anxious attachment styles abandon other people when they see these signals of abandonment. But when you're anxious, guess what? Everything looks like a signal of abandonment. And being afraid of being abandoned is the main reason why so many women are POOKIE pickers. Why? Because POOKIE isn't going to abandon her. See, POOKIE is either going to threaten to leave and never leaves but always comes back, or never leaves because he doesn't have anywhere to stay. And you know he's never going to leave because he's a POOKIE. And this dysfunctional level of confidence in POOKIE reassures the anxious attachment style that she will never be abandoned by POOKIE versus be abandoned by a good man. Because when a good man says he's going to leave, or when it requires her to make some changes that she's afraid of making, that of course means she'll self-sabotage the relationship with the good man virtually every time and will eventually have a baby with POOKIE. So most likely, hopefully not, but most likely Chloe Bailey is going to end up having a baby with POOKIE, just like the rest of these women do. Kind of just like what Summer Walker did. Summer Walker's first POOKIE baby daddy had money, but he had like 3-4 kids or something.
I had to go ahead and support MrLetGo. Shout out to you for this cool card game. You guys, the questions on here are actually really dope. Like, they're really good questions for couples, new relationship, old relationship. Like, these are actually really good questions on these cards. First question would be, what are your 5 absolute deal breakers in choosing a potential marriage partner? Like, these are the questions that are on these cards, y'all. And they're very, very entertaining, I promise.
Over 80 intriguing questions that will help you vet your mate better or the person you're dating better. So either click the link below or click the link in my bio to buy your Deeper Discussions card game. So what does an anxious attachment style person do about this? Well, like I said earlier, it's about abandonment issues. So your first job is to become aware of not only that you have abandonment issues, but why do you have abandonment issues? Who abandoned you? When did they abandon you? And why do you feel new people will abandon you now? Because that's really what it is. You don't want to deal with that feeling of being abandoned ever again. Well, it's 2 things. 1, you're going to get abandoned again. So that's the first thing you have to at least be at peace with. People abandon us. We're normal people, and normal people get abandoned. Somebody says, I don't want to be with you. Somebody says, I don't want to do this, and they go away. So that's the first thing. Somebody will abandon you. You can't go through your whole life running from potential abandonment situations. You're never going to sustain a relationship being like that. The second thing is a self-worth thing. The reason why people are so afraid of someone abandoning them is because they don't necessarily want to be to themselves. Now, with all that being said, if you don't like being alone, don't get in a relationship, because you're going to get in a relationship possibly for the wrong reasons. Men do this and women do this. Men are anxious and women are anxious. So this is men and women. If you are out here trying to get into a relationship or wanting to get married simply because you don't like being alone, you have a problem. So I would suggest getting some therapy or getting some coaching. I have a coaching course. I have a coaching group. I can help you. Just send me a DM on IM_MrLetGo. But altogether, if you have an issue being alone, the first relationship you get in is going to be problematic because you're going to be so worried about that person leaving you where you're going to leave first. So there's another side of being alone. Some of you have gotten to the point due to you being so anxious where you're almost happier being alone. So some people are afraid to be alone, and some people are extremely happy being alone. So you get with somebody because you crave being in a relationship, and then you get rid of the relationship so you can go back to being alone because of fear of somebody doing something, fear of someone controlling your narrative, fear of somebody doing something that you don't want them to do. But at the end of the day, everybody you meet is not you. So when you look at another person, you have to look at that person as an individual. They're not going to come in your life and do everything you want them to do. And if you think that, stay alone. But to the people who don't want to be alone, get some therapy. And the people who are so comfortable being alone, don't get in a relationship. Because the truth is, you've been an anxious person. You're going to leave and abandon another person because you think they're going to abandon you. And what do you think you're doing to them? You can cause abandonment issues in a normal person that didn't have abandonment issues until they met you. So you can actually be running around hurting other people without even realizing it. So I'll just leave you with this. If you don't necessarily want to get therapy for whatever reason, go to MrLetGo.com, MrLetGo.com. And I have a course. It's only $37. Take that course. It'll talk about attachment styles, anxious, avoidant, all the other attachment styles, and it'll give you a better understanding of your attachment style so you can know how to change your attachment style. Are you an anxious attachment style, or have you ever dated an anxious attachment style? And did you leave the person, or did they leave you without even knowing what was going on? Let me know what you think in the comments.